Okay, so I want to do a detailed review on this drill sharpener and compare it to the drill doctor. So I've seen other reviews online, but a lot of them are just general, and I've been using this for months now. I'm a machinist. I have my own machine shop, and this is a great way to sharpen your drills and just get the most out of them without having to send them in to get them sharpened. Um, I've been using the drill doctor before. I mean, this is something that you can find many reviews online. There's a lot of people with them, and it works decent, but it takes a long time. This one does have the split point where you can split the point on the side over here, and the collet is not as good when we compare it to this one. This one is the brand is Vevor, but it's actually made by MRCM. They're the ones that make it. I think they just outsourced it to this company. And this is the 13B, and I'll go over that a little bit later. But this one has nice collets, you know, they're ER20 collets, standard collet that you use for any machine. Any machinist knows about them. You could buy them online if you need other sizes. It comes with metric, but you can use them for standard as well. And yeah, it just holds it so much better than this. We'll go in detail. I'm not going to review the drill doctor, but I'm just going to give you my experience in comparing the two. So the drill doctor, it kind of gets the job done. I don't have a drill sharpened by it, but the surface finish is nothing in comparison with this unit. This is, for example, this is one that's been sharpened by this MRCM sharpener, and it got a real nice surface finish. If you see the drill doctor, any reviews or any videos, you'll see that you leave all kinds of swirl marks, and it's not very nice. And then also the major problem is it's more off center. It has more chance of being off center than this one because of the collet's not too professional, and then it takes a long time. This is a carbide drill. You could do carbide with the drill doctor, but it takes a long time, especially if you're trying to split the point. So now we're gonna focus on this. So as I mentioned, this is the 13B series. They make a 13A and a D. In my opinion, the B is the best for the buck. The A is a little cheaper, but the difference between the A and the B is the B has a few more adjustments for splitting the relief angle. The relief angle is going to be this back angle over here, and also the point. It has adjustments to adjust the point. The D, I don't think it's worth the money. So the difference on the D, it has an extra here on the back. It has an extra secondary grind where you grind this side right here. You'll grind a second grind on that, which that's not really necessary, because if you have a grinder, you can just technically just touch it there, or what I do sometimes if I need it, you just drop this down. I know that it says on the cover not to operate it that way, but you could just use this as a grinder and just put a secondary point if you need it. The only reason you'll want a bigger relief on the secondary point is if you're doing soft materials and you're really hogging through it. I guess you want more clearance, but you could make more clearance than this. I'll show you in the video. You could add more clearance by just moving this back. It doesn't have that secondary point on that, but it's not necessary. Not for anything I do. Most people will never use it. I think it's just not worth the money. So I'm going to review this unit. As I said, I've been using it for some time now, and then I really like it. First thing you'll notice when you first take it out of the box, it's a pretty heavy unit. It's nice and sturdy. It's built fairly well, as well as the collet unit. This is, has a collet in there right there, but it's nice precision ground. The fitment on it is nice and tight, not very, good tolerance. It doesn't wobble around. The collet itself, let me take that apart. The collet holder, it takes these regular ER20 collets, as I mentioned, and so I gotta remove this with one hand. There you go. it has a nice ball bearing in there. That's really nice. So you get a nice tight. You can really tighten it nice without it moving around so much. It keeps it centered a little bit more when it tightens on here. So there's that. The As I mentioned, these are standard. You can buy them in standard size as well. This is what sets the height on this, the diameter height on that. I'll go over how to use that in details, and then I'll also go over what all this other stuff does. Here's how you open the back cover. It just has a button there. This thing slides back. There's the wheel. This is the standard wheel. You could buy this one says it's for high speed steel, but it works for carbide as well. You could upgrade to a carbide only wheel, but I have them both, but I haven't even changed that because this thing works on carbide just as well. They're both diamond grinding wheels, and they'll last forever. And maybe the carbide wheel might have a nicer finish, but this one has a nice enough finish, and it seems like it. Compared to that one, you could sharpen these drill really quick. So, and you could buy the diamond wheel separately. I'll leave a description in the bottom of the video where you could get this unit, where you could get the extra wheel, and there will be also a promo code for a discount where you could buy it from. So, getting back to this, so this right here is what adjusts the split point. One thing that's really bad is the instructions on this thing. It's hard to understand, and it's like a page or so, and there's not much detail in there, but it's not very complicated. So this is what adjusts the split point on there. That's this relief angle right here. There you go. So you could adjust that simply. Usually it should be when it comes in, it should be adjusted, but if you need to adjust it, it has two Allen head screws here, and you just move this in and out just slightly, retighten it until you're right on center. This right here, this unit right here, or this button right here, it adjusts the up and down as well as that Allen screw. That's just because if you loosen this up, you could push it down. You might have to loosen that a little bit, push it down a little bit, but if you need to lift it up, this is like a set right there. Once you have this set, you set that and it just kind of jams against the bottom. Make sure it doesn't move on you. Once you have your height, how deep you want to split the secondary point. For those who don't know, the split point is it's going to make cutting way easier. What you're doing is you're thinning out the webbing on these drills. Your standard jobber drill bit that you buy it won't even have a split point, but it makes a huge difference even if you're drilling wood or plastic. I mean, you're gonna it's just gonna go through like butter. For machinists, people that do this for a living, they know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's important. I mean, I use this on my CNC machines, and I drilled hundreds, let's say thousands of holes with a single drill bit. Comparing to a standard quality grind, maybe something you buy brand new, obviously you're going to have to back down on your speeds and fees. You're not going to run it the same, but still you'll save thousands of dollars on toolings by just resharpening your own tool, and it's really easy. Rather than setting it out and have it reground, I just come back here, and in a few minutes I got one ready to go. So it's definitely, I think it's a must-have for any machine shop or even garage, backyard, do-it-yourselfer. It's fairly cheap, and it'll last you a lifetime, and you'll never have to send out your drills to get resharpened or toss them out. Here is how you control the angle. So this controls the cut angle. Right now I'm set at 135 degrees. Most standard drills are 118, and usually machinist drills will be like 135, and harder metals usually they'll go something like that. You could even set at a 90-degree angle. I did some chamfer tools on this. It does work if you put it on a 90-degree angle, and you could technically resharpen a 2-point chamfer tool. Only thing is you'll have to manually grind the back relief on that, because the split is not going to grind the back relief because it's not really designed for end mills. But for tools, it's great. So that's how you control that. And I think that's about it there. So we'll get to sharpening a bit, and I'll show you how I do it, and then I'll also include some extra tips that I found useful when you're doing this. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just resharpen this drill right here. This one's a high-speed steel drill. I'm not sure what size it is, but so what you usually do when you first get started is you want to take this drill and then just find the right collet for it. Usually what I do, I'll just go in there and find the one that's closest. Anyone that, for anyone who has never used a collet before, you don't ever want to use a smaller collet than the drill. You want to use a bigger one, so when it crushes down on it, or when it clamps down on it, it will keep the center better. If you do the other way around, you might be off center, and if you're off center, then your flutes are not going to be the same equal size. So you find the right size. This is 9 to 10 millimeter, and if you have a standard drill and you don't know exactly what that is, you can always take the size of the drill, and for any machinist, he knows you multiply it times 25.4, and it gets you the right size. But if you just look at that number, it's close enough. So once you have the size number, this is also going to be in millimeters. You're going to pretty much take the size of the drill, and then you see these numbers on the top of that. There's you'll take these numbers, and maybe I'll get a better shot right here. So you have these numbers on the top, and you have this arrow right here, and pretty much you're going to take the drill, and you're going to the drill size, and you're going to kind of angle it straight with that arrow. So this was about a 9.5, so I'll put it about right there. And what this does, it lifts up this bottom piece, which will give you the height of the center of the drill. Let's say the center of the drill, so your drill will be on center. So you set that, and then we'll take this, and we'll just put this collet in there. For anyone that never did it before, any yard collet, there's always a lip there, and you just stick that lip in first, and then it falls right in. When you take it out, you do the opposite. So you got that in there. Take this piece, just screw it on. And usually what I'll do is I'll make this where it still slides in and out, but put a little resistance on it so it doesn't just fall out. Like that. Okay. And then close that. We're going to find the center on this. So what we're going to do is we slide this all the way back. It has these flats on here, and the flats are going to lay flat right against. So let me show you a little closer. So this will slide in like this, and then this flat needs to sit horizontally like that, and then you push this drill in there, and you bring you twist that flat until it hits that edge right there. So this sits all the way over like this. The drill sits all the way. So that's going to determine make sure that the both flutes are sitting horizontally as well. And once you got it there, then you just kind of tighten this up. And then usually what I'll do, just to make sure that it's good, I'll back it up a little bit and let the corner and bring it over there and double check this, make sure that this looks like it's nice and horizontal. The reason I say that is because if you have a split point on there already, sometimes that split point will catch earlier, and it won't be quite, when you go on the edge of this and you bring it on there, it's not quite vertical or horizontal. So anyway, then when you have that, you could tighten this up, and then you're pretty much set to start just start grinding it. So power's over here. They recommend you leave it on for a few seconds just to warm up the bearings. And this thing will just, those flats will just go right into those flats on the side there. So going like that. And what you do is you hold it from the holder itself and just bring it back and forth like this. Until you hear it spark out, or you hear it no longer making grinding sound. You just flip it over. Do the exact same thing the second time. So right now, if you notice, all I'm doing is just grinding the tip of it. That's because I'm changing the angle. This was a regular 118 degree angle, and I'm going to be changing at a 35. So this is probably a good example for someone that's doing that. You'll have to reset it the depth a few times, just to make sure you can get that angle out. And we'll go ahead and do that. I'll reset this depth a second time, and then we'll grind it, and I'll show you how it's finished. But it grinds really quickly, so especially on a high-speed steel end mill, it grinds really quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to redo that a second time to show you. So just loosen it up. Bring it back enough where it gets loose, and then just come back in a little bit. Stick it in there, go all the way to the right. Bring this all the way until it touches on the back. Turn it to the right, tighten it up, and then you can just start this up. And let's do that a second time. So it looks like I'll have to do it one more time and didn't quite clean up all the to the edges. Go ahead and do that. As I mentioned, if you're not changing the angle on it, you wouldn't have to do that much. Maybe if the drill is really messed up, just to clean up the corners, you might have to do it a couple times just to get the depth right. So if you see here, you can see that flat right there. I don't know if it's in focus right. Gotta get that focus right. Okay. So there's that flat. That was the one that grind already. So it's really nice finish. And there's the second one. I'm gonna flip it around and do the second one so you can get that. Which one you get it grounded all the way to the edge of it right there. And then we'll go and split this and get the relief on there. Usually what I'll do is I'll go back and forth until I don't hear it grinding anymore. And then I'll flip it around one more time, make sure it's nice on center. So you see that finished product right there. So very nice. So this is usually how most standard jobber drills come, but we're going to grind a relief on there to make it drill better. So here we have two pins, and these two pins control how big this relief is going to be right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove. If you remove them back here, it'll make the relief bigger. Up here, it'll make the relief smaller. So I'll keep it here and go ahead and drill. Just stick it in here like that. But you want to be sure that you don't jam it in there. If you're putting a big relief in there and you're doing carbide, you could probably damage the edge of the wheel. So just go slowly. This being a high-speed steel drill bit, it's a little soft. It's not that big a deal. So you'll see it kind of just cuts a relief right here, right there, and it's splitting the tip. So usually what I'll do is I'll leave a fairly small split like that. And usually what I do is I remove that pin and just leave this one. And I noticed that gives me the best split. It might have to also do with the position of this unit. You know, if it's, instead of sitting around and trying to get the perfect center, usually this is, you might have to just find whichever is the best. But this is, I noticed that gives me a nice split. So, let's go right here. Okay, so here we go. So you have that nice split right in the center. A little tip. Here's a tip. If it's a little bit off center, and if you notice that there's like one of the flats are not completely touching, you know, there's might be a little bit of land on the edge of it. What you could do on that one side, this is what I do, is instead of sitting and try to readjust it to find a perfect center, is I'll go all the way down, I'll turn it all the way right, and then I'll hold it down, and I'll just slightly push that back a little bit like that. You can hear it lightly grind, and it'll put it right on center. But most people don't have to do that. I'm kind of picky because I'm using it on the CNC machine, so I want to make sure it's like right on center. I just kind of touch it like that, and double check everything, make sure that it's just right. So I'm also going to show you. I'm going to move those pins down and show you how you can make that relief angle a lot bigger. So let's move it back here. Usually they recommend you put them both like that. And you really hear it taking off some relief. Flip it around. Okay, that's good enough. So you kind of see, I kind of, ooh, a little hot. So here you kind of see what it did. It just put a huge relief on there like that. So it makes this cutting flute really small. Let's see if I get that zoom in right. Okay, there you go. That cut flute is really small, and it has a huge relief. If, for say, you're cutting plastic or something, you really want to get those chips out really quick. That's the point of that. So yeah, it's a fairly nice finish, and it's a smooth unit. So that's pretty much how you sharpen a drill bit. So you could do high-speed steel. As I said, this was I made this as a spot drill out of a broken carbide drill. So that's a way you can save money on tools, and in the long run, yeah, you definitely will save money if you do a lot of drilling, or even if you just don't do much drilling, but you, instead of throwing away your old tools, you could use this. So that's pretty much it. If there's any other questions you may have, you can leave it down at the bottom of the video, and I'll see if I could answer them.